Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So, big things are happening this weekend. I don't think it could get much bigger than that, certainly not for the United Kingdom anyway. And since we are so in full flow with turning our attention towards King Charles III's coronation this weekend, what better topic to choose to talk about than crowns? And we might be familiar with the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, which says in the name of Rabbi Shimon that there are 3 crowns that a person could acquire in their lifetime. One, says Rabbi Shimon, is the Keter Torah, the crown of Torah. One is the Keter Kehuna, the crown of priesthood. And the third is Keter Malchut, the crown of royalty, the crown of monarchy. Those are the 3 crowns that we are taught a person could have in their life. But comes along Rabbi Shimon and says, but the Keter Shem Tov, the crown of a good name, Ole al Gabehem, they exceed them all. So we've got a few questions that we could ask on this Mishnah, but let's start with why the Mishnah lies. Why does Rabbi Shimon say that there are 3 crowns when clearly there are 4? He says it himself. There are 3 crowns, but a 4th crown, the crown of a good name, exceeds them all. So we could perhaps answer, we could say that the crown of a good name is not a 4th crown. It's the baseline. It's the prerequisite for all other crowns. Our accomplishments have no value if we do not conduct ourselves properly. If we act dishonestly, inappropriately, or discourteously, or in a manner which people find distasteful, then we cannot successfully serve the role that we are supposed to serve. But perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, there's an additional understanding as well. And perhaps we can turn our attention to the Mishkan and the Beit HaMikdash, in which we are taught that there are 3 items of furniture in the Beit HaMikdash that we are taught had a zer. What's a zer? A zer, we are taught, is a decoration resembling a crown. What were those 3 items in the Beit HaMikdash that had a decorative crown? One was the Aron, the Holy Ark. It contained the Torah scroll. It contained the Luchot, the tablets of stone. And so the Aron symbolizes the Keter Torah, the crown of Torah. The second is the Mizbeach, the altar, which is where the Kohanim, the priests, would offer the sacrifices. And so the Mizbeach and the Zer that was around it symbolizes the crown of Kahuna, the crown of priesthood. The Shulchan, the holy table, which contained 12 loaves of bread each and every single day throughout the week, signifies wealth and prestige. And so the Shulchan, the crown around it, the Zer around it, symbolizes the Keter Malchut, the crown of royalty. If that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, then we can ask a question. Which item of furniture represents the Keter Shem Tov, the crown of a good name? And the answer is, it's symbolized by the menorah. The menorah, which is coincidentally mentioned in this week's Torah portion. Now, the menorah did not have a zer. It did not have a decorative crown around it, but it did have the candles at the top. And the candles, so to speak, crowned the menorah. What's interesting is that in this week's Parshat, when it talks about using the olive oil to light the everlasting light, the words that the Torah chooses to use is laha'alot ner tamid. Now, let me ask you a question, guys. When you light your candles for Shabbat, do you say the bracha laha'alot ner shel Shabbat, or do you use a different wording? We say lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Lahadlik is the Hebrew word that means to light a candle, yet the Torah uses the word laha'alot, to lift up, to rise above, to make those candles rise above. And so we should be able to see a little connection over here, guys. If we are laha'alot ner tamid, to kindle the everlasting light, and Rabbi Shimon is telling us that the Keter Shem Tov, the crown of a good name, is Ole al Gabehem, that the crown of a good name rises above and supersedes everything else, then our connection starts to emerge. You see, when we have a good reputation, we shine like the candles on the menorah. Perhaps that's why it's called a shining example. We can illuminate the world around us with our impact in the same way that the lights of the menorah illuminated the Beit HaMikdash. Tell you something else that's interesting. In the book of Ecclesiastes in Kohelet, King Solomon says, Tov Shem Mishemen Tov. A good name is better than good oil. Which oil does this refer to? Rashi and other commentaries explain it refers to the Shemen HaMishcha, the anointing oil, the very oil that we use to anoint our leaders, like Aaron, the high priest, and other Kohen Gadols. A good name is better even than anointing oil. And it should be no coincidence to us that King Charles III, in actually the only part of the coronation which won't be televised, will be anointed as well with a special kind of oil, which their tradition links to the anointing oil that we used when we anointed our greatest leaders. And yet we have this message, Tov Shem Mishemen Tov. Good name is better even than good oil. We're going to spend the next couple of days very much obsessed with all of the ceremony, all of the regal decorations, all of the impressive ways in which King Charles is going to be displayed to the world as our new king. And that is all amazing, and it's all important, and it's all incredible, and it's all deserved of our time and our attention and our respect. But maybe after we're done thinking about the coronation, we can think about how we are all given the opportunity to earn a crown which supersedes all those others, even the crown, the British crown. Tov Shem Mishemen Tov. Even with all of the ceremonies, even with all of the traditions, even with all of the details that will crown King Charles as our reigning monarch, we have the opportunity to be better than royalty. Nothing can get close to a person with a good reputation. That's why Rabbi Shimon says it exceeds and excels above all of that. I can guarantee that none of you are going to be the king or queen of England. But that doesn't mean that our lives are pointless and our lives are meaningless, because we have the opportunity to be better than that. We have the opportunity to have the crown of a good name, that when we go upstairs after 120 years, people will be able to turn around and talk about what phenomenal people we were and the impact that we had and the illumination that we brought to people's lives. And that is better than any anointing oil, that is better than any crown, that is better than any ceremony, that is better than having billions of people watching you. The crown of a good name, that's what we all need to be aiming for. And with that, I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. And I'll take an opportunity, if he's watching, to wish our Royal Highness Mazel Tov on the coronation tomorrow. Shabbat Shalom.